Hi and welcome on to the All Guns Blazing podcast with my man DT in the building. How you doing?
All right, mate.
How's a toothache?
Gone. I'm ready for a row.
Did you get it treated?
Well, no, I haven't been able to. I'm on antibiotics, and they've kicked in now, and obviously have sorted out what's going on. So I spoke to my dentist, and she said to me she knows what tooth it is, and it needs to come out. But she said that it sounds like I've got an abscess under the gum, and that's where the problem was. So the antibiotics, pain. Jesus Christ, man! I honestly think toothache is quite possibly one of the worst pains ever. I went.
Ask this about pregnancy. She might disagree.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but I can't have kids, so I won't be able to compare. All I know is that toothache, wow, you know what I mean? There was one point on, I think it was Tuesday night, man, I felt like Elephant Man. It was like, my face was just all over the place, man. I was just like, oh, mate, you're at a point where you just want to just rip it out and you just give me a pair of pliers. I'll do it myself. Anything's pain, but no, so it is what it is. It's done. Hopefully these antibiotics can continue to work, and then I can get it out as soon as possible.
And football's still fast approaching. Do you see where Ceballos leaked it out? That basically it looks like it's going to be the 20th of June. That's going to be the day, 19th, 20th of June when football will return.
Well, I heard that. I think I watched your show actually where you was talking about Ceballos. I think it was yesterday I see it.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether he inadvertently let it out or whether that's kind of the date that the clubs are being given as a guideline. You know, I wouldn't take it as gospel yet.
Yeah, but now you're seeing that the cases are starting to come down a lot. There's less infections. I saw something, I think it was on a couple of days ago, where they said there was one day where there was no new infections in London. So you can see, you look at it where it's gone from where they had to build a special hospital to cope, that hospital there near Canary Wharf to cope with the extra people that they were going to have, to now there's been no new cases. I mean, it does look like the infection rate is dropping. So by the time we get to June the 20th, that should be, not that it's okay, but it's a lot safer than where we've been, and resuming football makes sense.
No, it also depends on a second spike, because my biggest concern, and it's one that I've raised with you for so long, is that we live in a world full of prats, and given the fact that it takes a couple of weeks for everything to start coming out and whatnot with the coronavirus, that we'll see where we are probably in a week to 2 weeks time, because then it would have been 3 weeks since the lockdown was lifted, and we've all seen the images over the course of the weekend, and Southend Beach and Brighton Beach rammed like ridiculous. We all saw the protests in Hyde Park last week. So the big telling point will be in a week to 2 weeks time, because if there's a massive rise again, then we know we're in for a second run of it, so to speak. But like I've always said, I just pray that we don't have that, and hopefully,
if there's not a massive rise, would you not then agree that it's fine to resume behind closed doors?
I've still got my reservations about it, not so much to do with the infection itself. I think it's more to do with what clubs are going to have to deal with. There's still players that don't want to play because there's a risk to their family members, players' family members that are in remission. Troy Deeney's son that's 5 months old and has breathing difficulties. How's it fair on a team to lose their best players or key players at a key part of the season because of no fault of their own? We're not talking about players that are just saying, nah, I'm not going back. I don't want to go back, and, just have no genuine reasons. I think that there's a lot more involved than just a game of football. There's a lot of personal issues as well that we all need to take into consideration, and stop comparing everyone to everybody else. And also there's the policing of it. There's the managing of the NHS staff, in terms of supplying matches with medical, personnel because of injuries, head injuries, broken legs that may occur. So there's a lot more that goes involved into getting a game going between, two sets of teams.
I
know what you're saying. I know what you're going to say, and I'm not going to go down this route again. And I'm not going to sit here for an hour. But all I'm just trying to say is that I still feel that it's being pushed back too soon, and that there are other issues that we should be looking at. And my ideal alternative would be to just let's get the whole nation back on their feet again before we look at playing football and go for end of August, September time.
But this is steps to getting the whole nation back on their feet. This is not, it's not just football. I mean, remember this, it's not just football is going back to work, right? They're basically saying to a lot of people, if you can't work at home, go back to work now. I went to get the tyres done.
Don't go to work. Stay at home. Don't stay at home. Go to work.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Stay at home. Go out if needed, but don't go out if needed. Go to the shop. Don't go to the shop. Yes.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But what I'm saying is, I went to get a tyre change on my car. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The tyre place is open because they can't work from home.
Expensive.
Huh?
Expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. Right? It bloody is expensive. Free tyres, actually. Free tyres. But what I'm saying is, it's open. Those people have got to work. And I understand. I hear the Troy Deeney thing, N'Golo Kante as well, who's saying he's not going back. And the club have said that's all right. But it's a very tiny few minority of players that don't want to go back right now. A lot of them want to go back. A lot of them want to play, right?
I don't know.
To me, I look on it. I see today that they're going to be opening back a lot of pubs. They're starting to look at.
When they're opening pubs.
Yeah, Weatherspoons. I saw Weatherspoons saying that.
Listen, don't talk to me about that idiot, man. Weatherspoons. Do you know what I mean? The guy needs to worry about buying a new carpet for Weatherspoons that you don't stick your feet on as soon as you walk through his premises. All right, talking to me about Weatherspoons. This was the same guy that was moaning about the pub shutting down before the lockdown actually started. Nah, no Weatherspoons. Nah, listen, don't talk to me about.
They're going to be opening back up, right? So not all of their places, but they're going to be opening some of them back up. There's I've seen like they've got Kentucky's and things like that opened up. You was telling me the other day there's a couple of McDonald's even where you live that are opened up, right? So why is
there's four McDonald's?
They're opening back. I'm sorry, footballers are in a more fortunate position than these people because the footballers are getting tested twice a week. They've got these little quarantine sections. They've got medical people on hand. The guy's going to Kentucky. He's just going to work. There may be a screen. He's got a mask and some gloves. That's it. So if everybody's starting to go back to work, why not get the football season finished? I mean,
first and foremost, a lot of these people that are going back to work can actually practice social distancing. You can't at football unless you've got a defence like Arsenal's because we social distance all the time. But
they're going to be tested, DT. They're going to be tested. They're testing them already.
Listen. Yeah, but listen, twice every week. But then what happens in between? What happens in between? You don't know because. Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say.
Twice a week.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you is, Robbie, they go into training. How do you know they haven't already got it in a period they're not having a test and they're passing it around to everyone? You look at Adrian Mariappa at Watford.
Yeah,
he went into training to get a test done. He's feeling absolutely fine, fighting fit, ready to go. Yeah, let's just go through the protocol, bang, comes back positive. It's what?
Yeah, so if he had come into contact with the rest of his teammates, the whole team would have had to have gone into a quarantine, like what they've done in to that team in Germany.
Exactly. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so what happens in a few weeks' time or whenever it is and the league starts, and in that period of 2 testings per week or whatever, the players are at home with their families or whatever it is, and they contract the coronavirus and nobody knows. They go back into training, they have it, not knowing they have it, and then they pass it round to everyone. Then when they have the second test done, oh, look, Aubameyang's got coronavirus. Hold on a minute. You've been training everyone the last couple of days. We've all got to go into quarantine. So what happens then? All of Arsenal's matches shut down for 2 weeks more?
Yeah. That's what they've done in Germany. That's how they're doing it.
Yeah, but Robbie, how would you expect to complete a season then?
Because that's how they're doing it in Germany.
They're talking about, because we're starting a lot later than Germany, for example, Germany can space out their games each week, yeah? With the Premier League looking to start up, say, 20th of June when we're talking about, it means that we're going to have to play some midweek matches and everything else, and the games are going to be quite crowded, quite bunched up. If Arsenal have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks, yeah, you could potentially be missing 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
4 or 5 games, right? So hold on, hear me out here, yeah? 4 or 5 games, yeah? Let's say Arsenal can't play 4 games, everyone else is playing 4 games, apart from the teams that they're supposedly playing. So, you know, we get further away from everyone, we don't know what's going on, and then say something happens where more people get tested positive and they're like, right, we need to shut the league down again. It's out of control. It's not right. And then they're like, you know what, we've got to get rid of the season now and we've got to go to a points per game ratio or games played or anything. Well, hold on. We've just played 4 or 5 games less than everyone now because we've had to go in quarantine. How's that fair? This is what I'm trying to say.
You're talking about things that haven't happened.
Right? So are you.
No, I'm not talking about things that haven't happened. I'm saying that this is what they said. If the league starts, and remember when the league starts, they kind of quarantine up the players as well.
Yeah, I understand. I get all that. I get it. I get everything.
Twice a week, right?
So I get it all. I get every bit of it. But I'm trying to say to you that what happens if these scenarios happens? If this is a possibility, then surely it's not safe. Yeah, but then surely it's not safe.
It is a possibility. Nowhere's safe.
No, I know. Exactly. So why is it coming back to you then? Listen, don't make me turn around, man. Don't make me turn around and start talking to that.
Talk to that. Let me just explain something to you, yeah? Nothing is safe. Nothing.
I know that. I know.
None of us are safe. Right? So at the end of the day, what do you do? It could be the end of this year, it's not going to be safe, probably.
I know.
Next year is probably not going to be safe. We can't. I was out, as I said earlier, driving, right, and I'm driving past all these shops, and like, there's like these big supermarket, big retail chains, like what's that shop called? What's that shop? Clothing shop. I forgot the name of it now. But that Irish one. But anyway, all these big shops, and they're all closed, yeah. And I'm like, even if they open back up now, the amount of money they're going to lose, because basically no one's going to buy any of the summer stuff, are they? By the time these shops open up sort of properly, summer's going to be gone. No one's going to be going really on holiday. I'm like, a lot of these shops on the high street are going to go out of business unless they get this back open soon.
Yeah.
So it's a really unfortunate balancing act where you have to start looking at things and saying, well, if we just don't do anything, what's going to be left? That's the horrible situation that we're in at the moment.
There's nothing left. There's nothing left. You sound like Ian Bill. There's nothing left. I've got nothing left.
Those shops, as I said, as an example, yeah, what are they going to do with all this stock?
Put it on eBay.
Yeah, you laugh about it. These are people's jobs.
Listen, Robbie, a lot of these clothing shops, yeah, believe it or not, they're making a roaring trade, yeah, online.
Nah, not the same. It's not the same.
Listen, Listen, Robbie, a lot of places, right? I know people that work in retail, and they've said that even before the lockdown, a lot of people now are doing online shopping. It's just the way the world is revolved.
Same, right? It's not the same. You're not going to go out there and buy loads of summer clothes at the moment when you're stuck inside your house, right? Me, I've been wearing shorts for about the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, they'll just wait till next year. If they haven't bought the new range out, then it ain't going to be old next year, is it? Because nobody's seen it.
It will be old because
nobody's worn it.
Man. You talking about? You don't understand the economics of this thing.
No,
there's going to be a lot of big high street shops that we know and they've been around since we were kids that could be gone when this is finished, because even when they do open back up, they're going to have to open back up a bit like football clubs. There's social distancing, just letting a couple people in at a time and stuff like that. It's not going to, honestly, it's going to be really, I think that at the moment, we're not even seeing nowhere near the worst of this, the economic problems that we're going to have, right? Because we're all inside. We're all kind of protected in our own houses at the moment because we're staying in, we're not going out. But what we're going to see when we do start going out, a lot of these businesses, how are they going to survive? Where are they going to get trade from? Because people are still going to be really tentative about going to places. So there has to be some sort of decision made on opening things back up slowly, trying to get things moving, because you can't just keep sitting there and say, well, what if this happens? And suppose I go there and that happens.
That's what they're doing. They're looking at opening retail shops at the start of June, the 1st of June. But what I'm trying to get to you is, I'm not saying don't open football again. I'm saying I still think that given the situation and given the fact that it's a game of football, wait a bit longer. Wait until go again next season.
So cancel the season.
Hand out the awards for wherever you are. Liverpool win the league, European places. Robbie, it's actually worse for Arsenal to not finish the season. It's actually more beneficial for Arsenal to finish the season than it's not. I get idiots constantly talking about, oh, he only wants the season cancelled because Arsenal are shit. They're this, they're that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're 9th in the league. We're only 5 points behind 5th place with a game in hand. We're only 8 points behind 4th with a game in hand. We're the only team not to lose a game in 2020 in the Premier League. And that was before lockdown. 3 months. You know, not even everyone raves about Manchester United's form and how well they're doing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Well, hold on a minute. Who were the last team to Man United lose to this year? Arsenal. 2-0 at the Emirates. Why don't we get that respect? Why don't people actually see the change that's happening at our club? Nah, because you just want to banter. Or you want to get your popcorn out and watch AFTV and chill. You think now I'm going to start moaning and Troops is going to go mad and Claude, time to go and all this, that. Nah, mate. You're chatting shit. I'm bored of it, man. It's more beneficial for Arsenal to finish the league because we got a chance of getting in the Champions League. Laugh all you want, little virgins. Do you know what I mean? With your silly accounts, with your player avies and everything else. Fools.
Two-faced gone.
Two-faced definitely got 5 points, Robbie. 5 points behind Man United with a game in hand. And don't sit there and tell me our game in hand is Manchester City. Man City have lost more games than Arsenal this season. Behave yourself, man. Seriously.
That's why we should finish it. That's why we need to finish the season.
So, yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you, you could see that my motive is not agenda-driven. I have genuine concerns why I don't want it to finish. My concerns, my reasoning is genuine. So what I'm trying to say to you, you know, if it was agenda-ridden, you know what I mean? You could have an argument, but it's not. However, it's more beneficial because I would love nothing more, Robbie. If the league does start, yeah, you put your finger down, man. You wait till you're spoken to. Wait, right? If the league does start, put your hand up like, hey, sir. If the league does get underway, yeah, Don't get me wrong, I'll be happy to get to see Arsenal again. I'll be buzzing and everything. All right. Doesn't mean I won't still have my concerns and my reasons about certain things and whatnot. And I'd love nothing more than for us to continue our form. Remember before lockdown as well, we'd won 3 Premier League games in a row. So we was actually hitting a bit of form. We were actually doing some good things. So if we do all that, no, I'm going to keep talking for the next 45 minutes so you don't say another thing. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, I'd love nothing more, Robbie. I'd love to rub it in everyone's face, man. I'd love to rub it in everyone's face and be like, yeah, where's your 9th place now? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we're an outsider. Yes, we've still got to catch everyone. But you're not talking 15, 20 points. You're not talking Manchester City trying to catch Liverpool and 20 odd points behind. 5 points behind Man United. And everybody is raving about Manchester United. Oh, they're doing so amazing under Solskjaer. Yeah, we've turned the corner and Pogba's coming back and Bruno is the greatest person since Frank Bruno. It's the fuck on, man. It's like, come on, man. 5 points, man. 5 points with a game in hand, Robbie. Come on, man. Come on, man. Actually,
hold on. Now I've got. What if though? You're right. So that's not a motive for it, yeah. Definitely not a motive for it because, as you said, if Arsenal come back, definitely got a chance of getting. And what we do, we'll have a look at the games we've got left so that we can see how we might fare with those, right? But what if you've backed yourself so far into a corner with the way you've been so vociferous over the past few weeks, insisting that you shouldn't come back, that now, because you're getting a lot of stick and grief off of people, because people are seeing it coming back, they're starting to think to themselves, well, is it he just keeps insisting on this because that's why he's backed himself into this corner that he can't get out of? Why is he doing a watch along to games? Isn't this the same guy who said, no, football shouldn't come back?
Hold on a minute, Robbie.
Why is he now saying that?
No. You're the one who started that. Listen, explain that to you. No, you're the one who started that. Yeah, you pussy hole. You're the one who started that anyway, right? You
never started nothing.
You started that. You started it. Do you know what I mean? You started, and I look down at the camera there. You started it. Pussy hole. You started that, yeah? You were the one that started all that shit, yeah? I got a business to run. Hey, listen, I got a business to run too. Do you know what I mean? Do you think? Know what I mean?
Everybody else's business can close down. Don't go back, but your business is all right. I got my business to run.
Robbie, I work from home. Who am I social distancing from? Do you know what I mean?
I heard you said morally it's wrong to even. I remember the other day you saying.
Wait. No, don't even try it. Don't even try it, yeah? Sure, give me a mute button or something, man. I need to mute you, man. You're doing my nutting, right? I remember when this first started, right? We were talking that now the initial talk was the end of May, right? For football, right? And I said straight then, no, absolutely no chance. Morally wrong. There's 500-600 people dying, right? At the moment. And there's even more than that. It went up to 800-900, nearly 1,000 or whatever. There's over 30,000 deaths in the UK. Absolutely no chance, right? Can we think about going back to football right now? And then listen, will you just shush for a minute? Then you obviously start looking at the situation and things start to pan out. And you look at it and you think, okay, maybe it's a bit safer now, right? But then there's other issues, all right, about teams losing their best players. Not through no fault of their own, but because they can't play, because they don't want to risk killing someone in their family.
How many players have said so far they're not playing?
Wait, listen, Robbie, just because we haven't seen it in the news doesn't mean that it's not going on. How many? In a minute. Hold on, Robbie, listen to me. You cannot sit there and go, oh, because such and such has only relayed, there's 3 people said it or whatever. listen, we talk to players. I've talked to players. There's a hell of a lot that are scared of coming out and saying they don't want to play. And because of the way that listen, Jamie Redknapp was doing an interview the other day with Sky and everything, and even he turned around and said that he knows a lot of players that have said, "There's no way I'm coming out and saying it. I'm not saying that I don't want to play because I'm scared that I'm going to get backlash from the public that automatically start going, oh, you're a footballer, you live a privileged life, get out there, stop being a pussy, do this, do that." Troy Deeney raised the situation when he done an interview last week, and he turned around and said, I think he was on Good Morning Britain actually, and he turned around and said that automatically the public and the perception is to have a go at footballers, and straight away people are out there now going, why are footballers allowed 2 tests a week, right? Why are they allowed to get all these privileges, and there's NHS workers and all this, that, the other. Now, if they were taken from the NHS, you could have that argument, right? But they're not. It's all being public, like it's all not publicly funded. Sorry, it's all being funded by the Premier League and everything else to have all these tests, and nothing's being taken away from the NHS. But the people don't see that. They don't look at that and go, they're getting these tests, because you've seen it online already. You've seen what people have been saying. All you've seen is footballers, how can they get tested, but yet your doctor can't, and your this, that, the other can't, and blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, there is a lot of testing going. My mum and dad got tested last week because of their age, and because my dad has underlying health issues now and everything. They went and applied, and they were granted the test there and then. And within 24 hours, I think it was something like that, my mum phoned me up, negative, both of them. So they've done everything that they should have done, and it takes a weight off the mind. And there's, I told everyone the other day, the situation, as well, personally, the situation that my uncle's going through at the moment. My uncle's been diagnosed with a terminal illness. He's got days, even weeks left to live and everything. Do you know what I mean? And like, I have him on the phone to me saying goodbye to me the other day because none of us can go and see him because of certain things. And it's like, that's why I believe that there's other priorities. Why can't, and I'm not the only one in this boat either, because there's thousands of other people out there that can't go and say goodbye, and can't.
Listen, I've been through it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? I've been through it during the whole thing. I've been to, a funeral where there's only 10 of us. So
exactly. Do you know what I mean?
What I'm saying is, right, and despite all that, you still hear me saying that, there has to be somebody thinking forward and saying, well, we do have to think about getting back to work when it's safe. And that's what I've been saying all along. When it's safe, and if the footballers go back, and there'll be some footballers that maybe don't want to play, that's fair enough. You know what I mean? If they're frightened, they're frightened. It's the same for a member of staff who's working at any company. If they're too scared to go back, they're not being forced to go back. But what I'm saying is, there has to be a way back. And I think that at the moment they're taking all the sensible measures. And if they do go back and things start going wrong, then they can pull it all. They can pull it all. And then you have to go with whatever they decide to do after that, whether it be they hand it out, which I don't want to see, or whatever. But let's try and get it back. Let's try and, it's the first steps, isn't it? If we can complete the season behind closed doors, then maybe next season now we can bring in some fans. You know what I mean? We can bring in and slowly start getting it back to where it used to be.
Listen, I see what you're saying, Robbie. And this is the thing. I'm not trying to, have an argument with you over this, right? I've got no problem with them trying to bring football back. This is what people are starting to get mixed up, right? Is that when we were initially talking about the whole situation, people were talking like towards the end of May. No, just absolute stupidity, and then also when they were first having their meetings, you're talking the start of May, then the end of May. No.
There was one show that we did, right? When we were talking, they'd already said June.
Yeah, I'm saying from the very beginning when they kept on moving it from a month to a month, and I was like, no chance, it ain't going to be back by then. Don't even think about it. It's stupid. It's ludicrous to even say it. But what I'm trying to get to you, yeah, is that I just don't think it's fair now, right? If we get to the part where it's not safer to start playing games, and I'm not just, this ain't about Arsenal, this is about everyone in general. How is it fair that some teams could lose their best players because it's not safe enough for them to return at the risk of passing on the infection and killing someone in their household? You know, we're not talking about players. If a player turns around and just goes, nah, I ain't going back, fuck that, nah, see you later, I'm not going back, whatever, then you can sit there and say, well, why ain't you going back? Tell me why it's not safe, what the reason. But when you've got people like a Troy Deeney, for example, who's protecting a 5-month-old child, you know, and yeah, but what I'm saying is, how is that then fair on Watford, who are fighting relegation and need their captain? How is it fair that they've then lost him through no fault of their own? Because
it's, you know what, we're living in.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. There's no right or wrong in this, okay? And
unusual
houses, and you know, and it's one of those, man. Is that everyone's got an opinion on it, everyone's got an idea on it, and nobody will be able to come up with the same, you know, point where we all go, let's agree. If you drop down outside of the Premier League as well, Robbie, yeah, then they're saying, I see a report this week saying about the Championship, for example. We'll start with them. They're saying that after the first rounds of testing and everything, the clubs then have to pay for their own testing. Well, hold on a minute. How are you expecting the clubs to pay such kind of like the prices that they are to get testing when they're not receiving any gate receipts? They're not playing anything. These are clubs that are struggling anyway. So you expect, if it's not safe and you can't provide that safety, then how do you expect them to pay for it? You can't. And then you go into League One and League Two, and then there was an agreement with League Two, for example, to start with, that promotion happens, but relegation is finished, right? Yeah. But it has to be signed off by the EFL and the FA. They've now turned around this week and said that for the integrity of the game, relegation's got to happen. It's got to happen. Now, League One, Tranmere are in the relegation zone, 3 points behind AFC Wimbledon, but they've got a game in hand. So how's that fair on them? There's winners and losers in all of this.
The best thing to do is to try and finish it.
Yeah, but they're never going to get. There's no way League Two and League One, like League Two's done. League One, that ain't going to get finished. And even the Championship, Robbie, how can you turn round after the first batch of testing and go, we can't fund that now, so you've got to fund it yourself? But hold on a minute, how am I supposed to fund it when one of my main revenue streams is gate receipts, right? And we're not getting none.
I'm not entirely sure what's happening.
You know, we're already hearing everyone's struggling, man. These clubs are struggling.
Yeah, but all I know is that if there's no football, they're going to be clubs that don't exist no more. That's what the reality of the situation is. And I think a lot of people, because we've been sort of on this lockdown for a couple of months now, we don't realise the enormity of what's going on. As I said, when I drove out and I'm looking at shops, Primark was a shop I was trying to think of. So I drove past that and I go, that's normally such a busy shop, right? And that's closed, and it's been closed for a couple of months. And
favorite place,
it's just going to be basically that's it. That shop, and many other shops, you know, what are they going to do? What are they going to do with all the stock they've got? What they're going to do with? It's going to be really, really tough. They're going to have to cut right back. How are they going to pay the rent? You know what I mean? It's going to be really, really tough out there. And those are some of the big resilient businesses. What about the small guys with little independent businesses and stuff like that? It's going to be, when we start getting back out there is when we're going to realize how bad things are, when we're going to start seeing lots of people losing their jobs because there won't be the safety net of the furlough. So, you know, I mean, this is why it's quite important, I feel, to start looking at ways if the infection rates are dropping that low, to getting people back out. And I hear what you're saying, because it's hard to trust this government, because to me, I've not been impressed with how I speak to people from other countries and how they're dealing with it and how we're dealing with it. Like, even for instance, like in a lot of other countries, you have to wear a mask. Over here, you don't, do you? You can.
No, you don't have to do it. I've seen videos over the last couple of weeks surfacing from various places around the world where somebody's kicking up a fuss because a shop worker's asked them to leave because they're not wearing a mask. Like, they're in the right to not wear a mask. I saw one lady, I think it was in America, saying that I've got a medical condition that means I don't have to wear a mask. What?
Don't wear a mask.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, but it, you know, things like that, it should be compulsory, you know. And I even said to you in the last podcast on Tuesday, I don't know who it was that gave up and done the, you know, the briefing that they do on a regular basis, you know, with the government and everything. But he was talking about, he was asked a question about the airports and why we haven't locked down airports like until now. You've allowed thousands and thousands of people into the UK from corona-ridden countries into and he turned around and said, February the 30th. He said it's been locked down since February the 30th. 30th of February doesn't fucking exist. It never has.
I'm not sure if you can get more corona-ridden than here. You know what I mean? If anything, America. Well, yeah, maybe America. If anything, you know what I mean? You probably, those people who came in were probably better off staying where they were. They might be safer.
Listen, look, it is what it is. But what I'm trying to say is that from, you look at the peak of the virus in Italy and Spain and everything else, you could jump on a plane at Barcelona airport or a main airport in Milan or whatever, and just fly into England and just stroll through without any checks, any worries, nothing. Yeah, off you go. Off you go. Here you go. Do you want some benefits while you're at it? Off you go.
Told you voted Brexit.
No, you dickhead. You're such a dickhead.
Right. You know what I wanted to do, yeah? I wanted to look at some of the games. The games that Arsenal have got left, just to see that, because you know, like you said at the top there, we were on good form before this thing. We would have had that game against Man City, right? Yeah. Obviously, that would have been a really, really difficult game. But then looking at the games,
mate, we would have played Man City at the perfect time. No De Bruyne, Laporte.
Yeah, and we were going to have Brighton away. That would have been the game on the Saturday when they locked it all down. So Brighton away, right? And then after that, it was going to be the Arsenal-Tottenham game, which obviously that would have been a tough game. But we would have had that game. And playing that game now, behind closed doors, I wonder how that's going to change the dynamic of that game, because obviously that'd be interesting, isn't it, that game?
Yeah, that I'm looking forward to.
That's actually going to be quite an interesting game, because behind closed doors, it's hard to call how that's going to go, isn't it?
Do you know what? To be fair, a lot of games are going to be really difficult to call.
Yeah.
I think that if they go, obviously they're going to go with, when they get started, they're going to go straight from where you are. So presumably Arsenal's first game would be Manchester City.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. Remember the season was last week.
Yeah, so that would be the first game. It's probably a good time to play Man City because we're both not going to be up to speed. They might not be as in an intense, you know, speed that they normally are. The only advantage is that, you know, they're playing at home and they're used to playing in an empty stadium.
Yeah, I think Man City is one of those teams that will excel with this. Yeah, I got you on that. Yeah. The empty stadium. But the thing is about it is that they're a team that's just a machine. They don't rely on the crowd getting behind them. They're just a machine. So I think that
intensity wise, you saw it with Dortmund, Bayern Munich, as well as Dortmund did and Bayern Munich did. There was still that real intensity lacking where you think all right, maybe in 2-3 weeks' time, they'll have that match fitness in their legs.
But North London derby would have been behind closed doors, and then following that game, we would have had Leicester at home.
Mm-hmm.
In another interesting game. But if we get favourable results in those two, you know, then we've got.
Listen, we've got a very good home record.
Wolves away. Wolves away.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the next fixture after that. That was like a little hard run of games, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then after Wolves away, Arsenal versus Watford. Hold on, I'm missing some games there. No, sorry. After Wolves away, the next game after that is Liverpool. There are quite some hard games, DT.
Yeah.
Talking Tottenham, Leicester, Wolves, Liverpool. Those are tough games. What
I'm saying is that Leicester at home, we've got a very good record at home against.
Yeah.
I think playing Wolves now would be an advantage because one of Wolves' biggest strengths is their support at Molineux. It's not an easy place to go, and their support is really good.
Although they are a good team going away. They're a good team away from home, counter-attacking.
No, we're playing Molineux.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's an easier game, in my opinion, now than what it would have been because we're not going to have to face the crowd at Molineux, and that gets the players pumped. Do you know what I mean? It does work. It is like a 12th man. So that would be beneficial. Playing Man City first could be beneficial because the fact that nobody's up to speed, it'd be the first game back for everybody and no one's got an advantage really. I think we're all kind of on a level playing field in terms of fitness and whatnot. Tottenham, it's one of those games, man. You can't call it whether there's fans in the stadium or not. It's a North London derby.
Liverpool, Leicester, Wolves. I mean, they're tough games.
Liverpool, look, listen, Liverpool, that could be a great time to play Liverpool, right? They're not going for the invincible record now. They would have probably won the league by then. It could be a great time to play Liverpool because I don't care what anybody says, Robbie. You remember when we went invincible, or remember when we've won leagues before and you've got games to spare, your levels do drop.
Yeah, you're on the beach.
It's difficult. Now, you imagine Liverpool. Liverpool ain't going for invincible no more. So they haven't got something to just hold on to like we had when we'd won the league at Tottenham and we had 4 or 5 games left. Something to just get you through. They would have won the league already. There's no fans in the stadium, no real atmosphere or intensity. It could be a great time to play Liverpool.
Okay, and then after that is Villa, who could be, you know, for all we know, they could be like done by then, you know what I mean, because they're struggling.
Yeah.
And then followed by last game of the season, Watford, which that could be a tough game depending on what Watford need to do. Those last 2 games, actually, it depends on where those 2 teams are at with their relegation crisis. Do they need to win to stay up? Do they, you know what I mean? So could we get 4th or 5th place?
Of course we could. Why not? Why not? I've said this. If you don't believe it, then I told you, you're a virgin with a player Avi on Twitter. It's simple as that. All right? Sorry, but it's simple. All right? I've seen it already. I've done a show on United Stand earlier with Flex and that, and I was talking about everything. And you see some of the comments already, and people are like, Arsenal are mid-table. We're 5 points behind Man United with a game in hand. And they're like, yeah, but you won't beat Man City. I was like, everyone said that when you played Man City before the lockdown. What happened? Yeah, but we're in good form. Yeah, but hold on. Who was the last team to beat you in the Premier League? Come on, man. Seriously, at the end of the day, Robbie, we're not talking double figures. We're not talking, you know, the Liverpool kind of, gap. 20 plus points where you go, behave yourself, don't be stupid, it ain't gonna happen. You're talking 1 win or a team to draw a couple of games. Who knows, man? And like we just went through the games then. I think that we've got, on paper, they could look difficult games, and they are difficult games when you think Wolves away and Man City away, playing Leicester and all that. But given the current situation and the fact there's going to be no fans in the stadium and everything else, it could actually be more beneficial to us now. You know, playing Liverpool when they've already won the league, playing Wolves without any of their home fans backing them, playing Man City right at the beginning of, you know, restart when nobody's up to speed. It could, you know, we won't know until whenever the season finishes or if it starts, and we can look back on it at the end and go, Jesus, they should have suspended the season. We're shit. Or we could be like, wow, thank God for that. And we got a Champions League place. And I'll tell you something, if we do get a Champions League place, listen, some of you better lock off your accounts, man, because I'm after you. I've been waiting 3 years. I've been waiting 3 years, man. I'm telling you. Why weren't there social media when we were good? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, boy. Well, listen, we've come to the end of the show today. Thanks for coming on. And don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Also, check out DT's channel. Tell about your channel.
Everyone knows about my channel, man. Come on, man. Every day there's content. I'm always doing something. I'm always winding someone up. But yeah, Mr. DT, you know where I am. And socials, you know where I am. Already.
All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week. If you entered the Blood Brothers online gaming tournament yet, chance to win £500, PS4 or Xbox, and you'll be taking on people one-on-one, and chance to represent our team. Doesn't get bigger than that.